now to South Africa, where the government is close to passing new laws about intellectual property, including drug patents. Health activists say that could allow people to buy cheaper generic medicines, but as Emilie Iob reports, a fight may be brewing over the move.
Every day has the same ritual for Funiwe. To treat her tuberculosis, she swallows 1 tablet of linezolid, a patented drug that costs $63 a dose. The aid group Doctors Without Borders, one of the main advocates for patent reform in South Africa, pays for her 2 years treatment. Doctors Without Borders argue drugs are too expensive in South Africa because laws allow too many patents to be granted to drug companies and then extended by a practice known as evergreening. That blocks the introduction of cheaper generic drugs.
Maybe they make a very small change to a medicine, and then they get a completely new patent on the same medicine, and they can continue to block generic competition for another 20 years.
Given a monopoly, pharmaceutical companies tend to keep drug prices high to recoup development costs and increase profits. Under the proposed intellectual property reform bill, the process to grant new patents for existing medicine would get tougher scrutiny and, in theory, would lead to fewer patents being extended. But intellectual property attorney Andre van der Merwe says implementing a new system would be challenging.
In order to examine those applications, you need teams of technical examiners, which South Africa doesn't have, and we would struggle to find those. Once you start requiring examination, the process becomes longer and it's more expensive, and someone's got to pay these people to do that work.
Generic drug producer Paul Enley, the CEO of Pharma Dynamics, argues that evergreening costs South Africans.
The litigation cost in attempting to revoke a patent runs into many, many millions of rands. It's a process that can take up to 4 years, and that delays generic launch and denies access to those generic products to the population.
A few weeks ago, leaked documents show some pharmaceutical companies planned a secret campaign to lobby against the reform. The leak caused an uproar, with South African Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi saying the plan is of satanic magnitude.
When there are clandestine lobbying mechanisms, secret, which want to subvert the democratic process, one has to get very angry. We are a sovereign state, we have got to make laws. And if the laws are challenged, they must be challenged openly in the public arena.
Motsoaledi says reform is a must in his country and throughout Africa, especially for AIDS patients who need antiretroviral drugs.
Of the 8 million people worldwide who are on ARVs, 6 million are in sub-Saharan Africa, and 80% of them depend on generics from India. If it was not generics from India, we wouldn't be able as Africa to treat so many people.
The reform would also allow the government to override patents when a drug is deemed too expensive. But that may also be a disincentive for companies to invest in developing new life-saving medications. Emilie Iob for VOA News, Johannesburg.
And that's our Africa Health Report for today. Back to you, Vincent.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Lenore. Be sure to watch for Lenore Mudu every Tuesday and Thursday for the latest health news in Africa, right here on Africa 54. It's